It's Hololive time! Hello and welcome to another figure review. Today we're going to have a look at the Nendoroid number 2301. It's Hakui Koyori. Not a cat, not a fox, a coyote. Alright, the pink coyote, and in charge of the R&D section of Gen 6 Secret Society holoX, alongside Laplace, Chloe, Iroha, and Lui-chan. She's the brains of the operation, self-proclaimed, but she has a thirst for knowledge about the human behavior, even going as far as making her own AI. Those streams are really interesting. But yeah, she came over as cute and sweet at the beginning, but turns out she's part of Hololive, which I'm a big fan of. So, let's have a look at the figure.
Not cat, not a fox, I'm a coyote, okay?
Size of the coyote. She stands at about... hard to tell because like goes almost up to 9 to the top of the head, but if you're going up to the ears, it's almost 10 centimeters. So we do have a little bit of extra size just because of ears. And then for your inches, that'd be almost 3.5, a little over 3.5 to the top of the head, and 3.8 to the top of the ears. Size comparisons.
Here's Jolter, SH Figure Arts, Son Goku, Figma, Hosho Marine, Nendoroid, Sakamata Chloe, and Darkseid.
Overall look and detail, and honestly, this is one of the peak designs of Hololive. And Hololive, boy, has a lot of cool designs, but this one, there's simple design, but there's so many small details that they really nailed with this Nendoroid. So first and foremost, always starting at the eyes, because I feel like that's one of the most important aspects of every VTuber, because it really separates the generic anime look, and this one is no disappointment. There's like the tiny red dots in there in like a sea of blue, and it gets a lot brighter at the lower half, almost a little bit yellowish. Oof. Cute looking, also got the one fang and the blush on the cheeks. And then the hair. Boy oh boy, the hair. First and foremost, the mold is fantastic. There's like bigger strains and smaller strains going all kind of wild all over the place. You got the braided buns and the one braid that goes over the top of the head. And then as you can tell, the shading on here is chef's kiss. It's a lot brighter on the top, but then every single strain, there's like something to look at, and really super duper impressive. The fluffy ears also really cute, and the double ahoge that goes from side to side. Got the hairpin, which is some see-through plastic in there, and painted on the lower half in some blue. And then we got to the entire lab coat, but it's not a simple lab coat, it's a cute lab coat. You can see this by the detail on the lower half. Also there's small zippers on both sides and a little bit more detail painted on there. There's the pink line work also is very clean for the most part. I haven't really seen any issues, no issues with bleeding whatsoever. Got a pink tie and a little bit of, you could say it's kind of lewd, but she's hiding under there, you know, somewhat of a choker. And, you know, you can think of the rest. I'll leave that to your imagination. Got some charms in the chest area, a little bit of gold and silver metallic. Always nice. And then a really short shirt, which unveils the belly button. And then we got the test tubes connected to the belt in different colors. Also like a pink belt with some ribbons on there. You can kind of stretch the lab coat since it's soft plastic. Stretch it a little bit to the side to unveil the beautiful detail. We have some bleeding in the belt, but that's barely noticeable. And now it's sponsor time. Well, you know, it's just a pantyhose, so we don't really see that much. There's not really much going on. We do have, however, some more potions strapped to her thighs, and the shiny shoes with the tiny pink ribbons. One of the highlights of the design is also her little mascot, the coyote friend, which chills in her pocket. And if you move the hair out of the way, we also got a big fluffy tail, which has the same amazing paint job, and also has a little ribbon on the back of a lab coat. So I like this design, and I like the execution of the figure. Especially the hair, it's beautiful, and then all the small detail, very cleanly done. And it just works all together. Shiny shoes, a little bit more muted in the other color sections. Yeah, Beautiful. Fully articulation, it's standard stuff. If you've seen one Nendoroid, you've pretty much seen them all. So you do have a big ball hinge in the head area, so you can move the neck around, can swivel that around as the tail pops off, which is just on a swivel. So just pack that in. I'm gonna leave it off, so we don't get any more trouble with that. But you can move this around, can somewhat tilt it a little bit on the socket, but if you adjust the ball hinge in a different direction, you can also recreate that. So we do have shoulder swivels. Can move that pretty much all the way around. Obviously the head's getting in the way right now. We do have a bicep swivel on both sides. This one's more noticeable because we don't have the black strap that goes around the bicep. And then we also have the hands, which are once again on swivels. There's not really much else going on in the entire torso area. They could have had a swivel on the skirt, but they didn't do that. And then for the legs, we do have ball hinges. Sometimes they have ball hinges, other times they have regular ball joints. Honestly, I prefer the ball joints because the movement is more fluid. Now you always have to go side to side and then you just swivel it around on the ball. I can't get a good grip right now, so it's a little bit more finicky. So I prefer the ball joints, and there's nothing else going on in the leg area. No feet that can swivel. Obviously you don't get pivots or whatever, so it's simple.
Life is a mosaic of pleasure and pain. Grief is an interval between two moments of joy. You have no rose without a thorn. The diligent picker will avoid the corpse and gather the flower. Satya sidebar.
For your accessories, we have a bunch of cool stuff. This is always where the Nendoroid shine, but you know, since they're so limited in articulation, this is what you gotta have. First and foremost, we do have a happy, shiny, smiling face, and then the lewd face, which doesn't have any hearts in it, but you know, it still does the job. We don't have an AI face, unfortunately. Would have been nice, but you know, the faces we got are pretty cute. Then we also have a big bottle of mayonnaise, where the hand is directly attached to it. Big fan of that, so it's not flopping around, and we don't have any issues. So she can lick that up. Don't take that out of context, or do, I don't care. Then we have the angled arms, so you can replace those with the regular ones, and she has like the gao, the grabby hands, as she's going for like a cute coyote pose. For the other hands, you have like a pointy finger, and one where you have a little opening to put in your test tube. This one, see-through blue plastic, looks nice. A lot different than the one we have on the figure. Also, those are a lot smaller. So we do have something to play around with that. But not consistent, I don't know. We do also have a big ball hinge, so you can replace the one in the neck if it pops off. Glasses, which you just slide under the front part of her hair while you take that off, slide this in. Also for clarification, you peg the glasses into the front part of the hair. There's a small hole. Put the front part of the hair in and boom, just see-through plastic. You gotta clean them glasses. And finally, we do have the base, as every Nendoroid has. With the Hololive ones, they have customized bases, which I'm a big fan of. Name, kind of logo on there, with a pink design and the triangles to represent Hololive. And also you do have the arm to attach it to the back of your figure, because Nendoroids don't really stand on their own.
I love you more than anyone else in the world. I'm really glad I met you.
Final thoughts! And this figure nails it. The paint job in the hair alone is beautiful. But then you have all the tiny small details in the outfit which have been done to perfection. The mode's great. The paint, I haven't had any trouble with it. And you know, it really goes along well. I keep talking about how Nendoroids work for some things and not so much for others. And this is having this cutesy pink coyote. It just works, man. And again, they've done a bang-up job. You know, the articulation, the standard Nendoroids, there's nothing to write home about. But then the accessories are really great. I love the face gums, the mayonnaise. And you know, you have a bunch of stuff to play around with still, even though it's always limited in articulation. But you know, that's the Nendoroid fun. And yes, I do recommend this figure because she really stands out. Even if you're not a fan of Hololive, I think the design is amazing and they bring it to life with this figure. So props. That's gonna do it, guys. As usual, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this review, hit it up with a like and subscribe to the channel so you can stay tuned for more figure reviews, card game stuff, and whatever Koyori wants.